everyone, it's Christina with Bubblegum Paper, and I'm here to wish you a very happy Easter. I have a card to make that's super Easter themed using the Simon Says Stamp March 2016 card kit. First, I'm going to walk you through the contents of the kit, and then we'll make the card together. Each of the monthly card kits comes with an exclusive stamp set. This month it's called My Kind of Peep and features these marshmallow peeps in large, medium, and small sizes, along with really fun sentiments, expressions, and this little bow tie, which I love. It also comes with coordinating dies. The dies are small, medium, and large peeps, along with a circle and the bow tie. We get a bunch of sequins, the distress crayon, some pre-printed watercolor cardstock with Easter theme prints on it, and this really gorgeous Easter patterned paper. It has bunny rabbits and carrots and eggs and just really fun pastel Eastery colors. There's coordinating cardstock. This is heavy 110-pound cardstock, and an inspiration sheet that features projects from other Simon Says Stamp design team members. Here I am, and I'm choosing the color paper that I want to use for this project, and I'm going to clear off my workspace and get started. I'm going to start with the stamping first, and I'm using this filled-in largest peep along with some expressions and the bow tie. I'll be using Simon Says Stamp Hybrid ink for this, so I have the color Spring Rain, which is like this turquoisey blue, the yellow Duckling, and then an orange sun-kissed color, which is almost like a coral. And right now you'll see me doing the yellow one and then the blue peep. And as I'm doing the bow tie, I couldn't decide if I wanted an orange on white cardstock bow tie or if I wanted to fill in, the bow tie with orange ink and use a black outline. So I end up doing both and then deciding in the end which one to use. So you'll see this orange one just pop up like that. Then I add the little expressions. One of them is kind of looking very shy, and then the other one has big eyes for a peep. And then I'm going to go in and die cut everything. So the die cuts come connected. I think that's just the easier way to manufacture it. And you can just use these jewelry cutters to cut out the wire snips. It does take a little bit of time, and you want to be careful that you don't poke yourself. But I ran those through the die cutting machine, and now I'm looking at the bow tie, and see how it's on white cardstock, and you can't really see it. And then the one with the black outline was a little too pronounced. So I decide later on to color in the one that's on the white cardstock. And I'll show that in a minute. I'm taking the pattern paper that matches the peeps perfectly, and I'm cutting them down into smaller strips of paper. They're all 5.5 inches wide, which is the width of my card, but I'm going to vary the sizes. Like here I have 1 inch for the yellow strip. I think I went with 2.5 inches on the Easter egg card and 1.5 inches on the pink, but eventually I cut those down even further, so you'll see that. I'm also cutting these 1/4 inch strips from the green coordinating color cardstock, and these are going to be used as just some accent border pieces when I put the whole card together. I'm using the Simon Says Stamp stitched rectangle die and the Lawn Fawn scalloped rectangle dies to create 2 layers, one out of the green and one out of the white, for the peeps to sit in. So I'm going to run that through my die cut machine, and the peeps fit perfectly there. I'm making an A2 size standard card base by taking a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall, and I'm scoring it at the 4.25 inch mark. Now you can see my peep window is a little too big. So I play around a little bit, and I decide that it's best to cut off about 1/3 of the rectangle. To do that, I line the rectangle up with my original scalloped rectangle die, and I place the die sort of 1/3 down from the top, and then I only need to cut off this top strip. So I run that through the die cutting machine, and then it creates this slightly smaller rectangle / square shape. I did the same thing with the Simon Says Stamp stitched rectangle die, and now the peeps still fit in the window, but the window isn't ginormous. I'm taking the pattern paper that I cut earlier, and I'm just placing that on the card, and I realized that this too is too tall. So I cut off a little bit more than I needed. So I'm going to trim those down to maybe half the size of what I originally had. And then that way I can keep a little bit more white space. I didn't want to fill the entire front of the card with pattern paper. So here are the smaller trim pieces, and I'm just figuring out exactly where I want to place it. I end up deciding to put everything centered on the card. So I'm taking this Tombow Mono adhesive, which I absolutely love. It's my all-time favorite adhesive because it has these little dots on it, and you can remove the paper if you mess up, at least initially, and then once you glue it down, it becomes permanent. So I'm putting all the pattern paper down, and I'm doing the same thing with the window that I cut out, and I'm placing the peeps on there. For the little bow tie, I decided to color in the one that was stamped in Sunkissed ink on white cardstock, and I'm just using an orange Prismacolor pencil, coloring that in and adding foam adhesive to have the bow pop up off the yellow peep's head a little bit. I also used foam adhesive on the back of the blue peep, if you can't tell. I'm now stamping the sentiment. It's super fun. It says Hoppy Easter. It's so funny. Makes me laugh every time I say that. And I'm taking that green scalloped piece and I'm just adding some foam adhesive on the back of that as well. This creates some added dimension. So most of the dimension is there on the window with the scalloped rectangle and the peeps and the bow tie. And there you have it. That is my completed Easter card. Now this one took me a little longer to make because I kept having to measure and remeasure, but now that I know where everything needs to go, I can recreate this pretty quickly. Here are some close-ups of what the finished card looks like, and thank you so much for watching. Have a super happy Easter. If you're interested in videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can also visit my blog at bubblegumpaper.com or follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Bubblegum Paper. Thanks again, and see you next time. Bye!